Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. So today we're going to be reviewing Dumbo. All right, so Disney took its classic and decided to remake Dumbo, proving once again that you can't beat an original. Um, so let's get right into the review. Uh, the only good thing about this movie was the CG elephants, which were cute and adorable. But the movie was all cake frosting. Um,
Pretty much.
it's like they just decided, first of all, let me say they changed a lot of things with the movie, which we knew they were going to. They were going to reinvent this iconic character for another generation. That's essentially what I guess their goal was. But it's like they held a meeting and they were just like, you know what? Let's throw everybody famous in a movie, and people will like it just because we put Colin Farrell and Michael Keaton and all these different people that should not have been in a movie together that doesn't fit. Story was ridiculous. The effects were horrible. And to top it off, the acting was terrible. And just because you're famous does not mean that you belong in a classic, iconic movie such as this. Sometimes your skill just does not work for the picture. This is by far Tim Burton's worst film I've ever seen.
Really?
Yes. Terrible. Didn't like it. First of all, it wasn't interesting. The story they tried. I I don't know if they tried actually. It's like their effort was with the actors. They thought that if they put all these stars in it, everybody would want to go see it. Everybody would love this movie, and I think that they were wrong, and they ended up with a big, fat zero. So I don't believe that they did put any effort into it.
Yeah.
I think they tanked a classic. That's what Disney did. They just absolutely destroyed a classic. What did you think? What did you think about it?
Okay, so I didn't think it was as bad as you thought it was. But I was expecting it to be a completely different film because I knew that the only way they could do it live action was, first of all, to put people in it.
Yeah.
Which is number one.
Well,
you have to put people in it, otherwise it's just
obviously
a better animated film.
Obviously. And it had to be probable. It had to make sense. So we knew there were going to be changes.
We knew that. We knew there were going to be changes. We knew there were going to be big changes.
Yeah. It didn't. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
It didn't hold my attention. My mind kept wandering in and out. Yeah. I couldn't focus on it. It wasn't interesting. It was boring. The best part about the entire film was the CG elephants, which weren't even real. They were cute, but they weren't even a real element in the movie. And it seems to me like Disney had no clue how to make this live action, so they decided, well, we'll dress it up with a bunch of stars and a bunch of famous people, and we'll just throw, including the announcer Fight Night guy, which I was very actually offended by that they would even put him in this film. I thought that was complete and total crap and uncalled for completely.
Yeah, they were just trying to, instead of having that whole scene with like the crows from the original one, how they've seen everything or whatever, that whole song they have, they're like, we'll put the wrestling guy in there. And I don't even know his name.
I think they would have done better to have a bunch of no names.
Yeah.
In it, rather than all these famous stars, because it did feel to me very dressed up. Well, we don't have any real storyline, so we're gonna dress it up. We don't have any real plot, so we're gonna dress it up, and we're gonna invent plot. We don't have any real meat of anything, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna dress it up, and it's just to me, when you do that to a movie that's as classic and iconic as this, I mean, I understand the making changes. You can make changes to it. You can make it plausible, all of that stuff. I think they would have done better to go with actors that were not as well known. Because when you start putting all these stars, all these things, it feels like cake frosting. And it's a cake frosting movie. It is not anything really enjoyable. You're simply watching this film for an actor.
Eva Green was in it, and she kept her clothes on through the entire film, and I was so proud of her.
Another minus to the movie.
There was no boobs.
And keep in mind, I'm not trying to shit all over this movie, but
it was poorly done.
Honest opinion, it's like it's almost like a movie like they wanted Hugh Jackman, they couldn't get him, so they did the next best thing and just brought in a whole bunch of really famous actors. I noticed that Michael Keaton made an appearance again. And
it was Michael Keaton.
We could have done without Colin Farrell. We could have done without Michael Keaton. We could have done without Eva Green. We could have done without Danny DeVito. We didn't need the cast of Batman. You know, we just didn't need that in this movie. And it's like Tim Burton.
It's Tim Burton.
It's Tim Burton. Every single one of his movies is the same thing over and over and over and over and over. And I'm just sick of Tim Burton. I'm done with the Tim Burton thing. Every movie that he does is either Beetlejuice or it's Batman. And this had some elements that felt like Beetlejuice in it.
Well, yeah, it had Michael Keaton.
Right, and he was basically Beetlejuice in it.
He's always Beetlejuice.
He
didn't act to Beetlejuice.
Then there were elements of Batman a little bit.
Really?
A little bit. And it's like, you know, it was very weird, and I felt like it was intended to be dressed up because they really had nothing. They had nothing, and they should have left it an animated classic.
Their audience, though, their focus was toddlers.
Yeah, I understand that.
So,
I understand that. But from a point of view,
38.
From the point of view of being a critic,
yeah, that's
and from the point of view of being a person that grew up with the original, I can't say that it was a good film. It was all set dressing, and it was all cake frosting, and it was, in my opinion, the movie was terrible. And if you are a fan of Dumbo, this one I would miss. I would literally go to the store and pick up a copy of the original Dumbo and watch it to your heart's content. I didn't even enjoy the way that they did the pink elephants.
I like that. It was less traumatizing to me. The whole bubble show was.
I think it was at that point.
I would go see that bubble show.
I think it was at that point that I decided I did not like this movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I would see the bubble show.
Because the elephant actually gets drunk.
Yeah.
He gets drunk, and that's why he's seeing pink elephants. Because that's always been a saying. Well, if you drink too much alcohol, you'll see pink elephants. You ever heard that saying?
Never.
Well, that used to be a big saying.
See, that whole scene is like one gigantic LSD situation for me, and it freaks me out.
Well, see, back when I was a kid, it was known that, you know, people would literally say that. Don't drink too much alcohol or you'll start seeing pink elephants. Oh. And maybe that's because of Dumbo.
Maybe.
You know,
I mean,
but
the original Dumbo was in like 1920, so.
My opinion, I don't know what it did at the box office. I can't see it doing very well because they shouldn't have made it. They should have put in more effort. It felt very rushed, and it was just a poorly done movie, in my opinion. So I'm going to give it 2 thumbs down. Out of 5 stars, I'll give it 2. I'll give it 2 stars.
2 stars is generous.
Probably not the most horrible movie I've ever seen,
I've seen
but
worse.
It is the worst Tim Burton movie I've ever seen, by far.
I've seen worse Tim Burton movies, but this was a very baby.
I would rather watch Edward Scissorhands back to back for 36 hours, and I don't like that movie.
I love that movie.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I would be in bliss if we watched that for 6 hours straight. That'd be just great.
But
I love Edward Scissorhands.
It is what it is, and it's you also have to understand too that, like she said, their target audience was toddlers. They're trying to, and I get it, man. They're trying to reinvent the character for a next generation, and that's all well and good. But I still, even in that, they could have tried just a little bit harder, and they. See, this is the thing that we get into with movies here lately, is instead of them putting a new face on something or really trying to reinvent it, we've fallen into this weird stigma of, well, let's just throw stars at it. Let's just put as many stars as we can find in the movie, and then people will want to see it. And that's not true. That's not true. People used to. Now, back when I was a kid, people went to the movies for specific actors and specific stars. That's not really the case anymore today. At least I don't feel. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know.
Maybe I'm wrong. But I feel like people go to see a movie because it looks good, not because of how many stars and whoever's in it. Maybe there are some movies that people go because of who's in it, but I really feel like they thought, well, we'll just compile this thing with famous people and stars and put as many famous faces in it as and everybody will be happy. The kids will be happy, the adults will be happy, and those that grew up with the original will be happy, and they'll go see it and everything. And that is not the case. That is not what happened here, and that is at least not my opinion.
I've noticed something that this is completely off topic, but Tim Burton has brought Eva Green into his circle because he has that circle.
Right.
He only works with these people, and since Dark Shadows, because he did Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children,
right,
which had her in it. She kept her clothes on in that one too, actually.
It was a decent film, although the books are better.
They're completely separate entities.
Yeah.
You have the movie, which is good, and then you have the
but
books
that's I feel like that's kind of the same thing. You talking about books. I feel like that's kind of the same thing with Harry Potter. You have the movies and you have the books.
Things. You like them?
Both are good, but they're just different.
They're not.
They're really not related.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was just gonna say I've noticed that he's brought Eva Green into that circle.
Yeah.
And,
but studios
I appreciate that.
Studios do that. I mean, most studios, they have a certain group of actors that they only work with, and you're only going to get those actors with that studio, and you get these little entourages and little cliques and stuff going on in Hollywood. As from an artistic standpoint, the movie was crap. I just have to say that. They didn't try very hard, in my opinion. They could have done better, and they failed to do so. They're literally watching it. You can tell. Oh, we'll put all these famous actors in it. We'll put all these stars that have these big name stars that have done all this stuff in it, and people will enjoy it. You got it wrong. I'm sorry, but you didn't hit the mark. Maybe you tried, but you didn't hit the mark. You just didn't hit the mark for me. So
I had one more gripe.
Mm-hmm.
So Mrs. Jumbo is an Asian elephant from India. So that's where Asian elephants are from.
Right.
They went home at the end of the film and they found that herd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I felt like it was in Africa.
No. They're in jungle in India.
No, I know what it was supposed to be.
Right.
But I felt like they showed an African
I don't
jungle.
know. It was a CG jungle. It could have been anywhere.
But it looked like Africa to me.
Anyway, the herd was a mixture between Asian and African elephants.
Yeah.
And you can tell the difference with them by their ears.
Mm-hmm.
And either somebody did not care or they did it intentionally to mess it up.
Right.
Because it was a completely CG herd, so they had to have purposely put that in there.
Mm-hmm. I will say also, if you're looking for a family-friendly movie, this probably isn't it. Because there are some elements still in this movie that weren't entirely family-friendly. And there are some innuendo things that a lot of the adults are going to get. It's probably going to be missed on the children.
Your kids won't grasp it.
But the adults are going to get it. So if you're looking for something
There's
that you want to...
slips in there.
Yeah, that you want to expose your kids to that's going to be completely child friendly, this is not it. There, like I said, there were some spots in there that they implied some things that a child smart enough is going to understand exactly what is going on.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't an entertaining movie.
That's true.
It wasn't an entertaining movie. So, I can't even applaud them for their effort, honestly, because it doesn't feel like to me that there was any. It felt very rushed, thrown together, and just, let's load it up. Let's load it up with a bunch of famous people, and
They'll make up the
and,
difference.
yeah, we'll have a movie. Wrong. Wrong. Every time Hollywood does this, every time that they think this, they get it wrong. And maybe you have a different opinion if you enjoyed the film. I'm glad that you enjoyed the film. That's great. I'm happy. I'm not trying to shit all over it, but this is just my honest opinion, our honest opinion of the film. If you did enjoy it and you loved it and your kids loved it, or you went and saw it in theaters and all that, then great. I'm happy for you and all of that stuff. But to me, it was just cake frosting. It was a cake frosting movie.
They need to make the bubble show a real thing. I would buy tickets to that. Just saying.
I think there are circuses that do
I would buy
stuff like that. I mean, it's not like that, but
maybe
it's similar. I mean, the bubbles don't like walk and stuff on their own.
Well, obviously not, but I mean...
Spoiler alert.
But it's still pretty great.
But I can't say that I enjoyed the film. Like I said, the only element that I thought was good about the movie, honestly, was Dumbo himself. And the relationship between him and his mother was very touching.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was just a cake frosting movie. It was nothing more than, we'll throw something together and ship it out there. And Disney, I feel like, has started to do this a lot with movies.
It's because they're making all their movies, their classic animated movies, they're redoing them as live action, and they don't have the same substance.
Right. And they
did that with Pete's Dragon and The Jungle Book, and I'm gonna see The Lion King, but they probably did it to that too.
Yeah, Lion King is definitely one we were definitely excited about, that we're really wanting to check out. I will say I didn't like the original. She did.
It was.
I didn't. There were things in the original that absolutely were not child friendly at the time.
Well, no. But
and
there
again, Disney has to be child friendly because this is what their business is.
100% child.
But this is what their business is.
I know.
And if they're not going to be,
little things in there.
and they're not going to put that effort into their stories and their, to make it what they did a live action Pinocchio, and it was absolutely wonderful. Back when I was a kid, and they put real effort into it, and
they put real effort into Beauty and the Beast. That movie was great. The live action was awesome.
There are some movies that they do, and then there's some movies that they just
Cinderella was trash. Snow White, which
crap all over, and it's like this is something you own. Why are you crapping on it yourself?
Yeah.
Why aren't you putting that effort? You ought to put that maximum effort, Deadpool, into everything that you do. In my opinion, and I feel like Disney has gotten on this kick to where it's like, oh, we're just going to ship out product. We don't give a shit if it's good or we're
They
just
know that
shipping
everybody's
out
gonna watch
product
it if they put Disney.
because it's Disney.
There you go. Disney stamp.
Yeah,
Right in there.
yeah.
Everybody watches it,
And I think
everybody did watch it.
I think they're wrong. I really think they're wrong for that because it's just not. It just doesn't do anything for me, and it's a movie that I wouldn't buy. I keep hearing about Little Mermaid live action.
Yeah, and it's gonna be trash.
I'm getting excited about that. I would like to see it,
It's
but
not Ariel.
oh, is it not?
It's not Ariel. It's a completely different film with the name The Little Mermaid on it. It's got nothing to do with Ariel. Ursula's not in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So probably looking at another flop.
Definitely.
I would say that this one is a flop. And there again, I don't know what it did at the box office. I don't know how well it did in theaters. I don't know, but and I'm not mad or upset about it. I'm just matter of fact. I didn't enjoy it. I thought it was cake frosting. I really didn't think that it was. There was no substance to it.
Yeah.
It was just a dressed up movie that they didn't put any effort into, and they just were trying to get a product out there into theaters. So, anyway, if you did see the movie and you enjoyed it, I'm glad that you enjoyed it, and hopefully, the newer Disney movies that are coming out will be much better than the one that we just viewed. So, anyway, that's our review.
Yeah.
Anything else that you wanted to add?
Frozen 2 is going to be a real thing. Anna's back. Elsa's back. Oh, yes. It'll probably be trash.
I didn't like the original Frozen. I didn't like the first Frozen. I'm not a Frozen fan at all.
I know.
You can shun me if you want to. I don't care.
It's fine.
Hey,
We'll forgive you.
I feel like I have to be honest.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you
You didn't like it, you didn't like it.
No, I just, here's why I didn't like it, okay?
Because
They lied to me in the preview. They lied to me in the preview.
Really?
Yeah, because the preview was all Olaf, and I thought that's what the whole damn movie was going to be about.
They definitely overplayed him in the original trailers.
Yeah.
And then he was like 20 minutes in the movie.
Yeah, so I thought we were looking at essentially another open season scenario, but with snow. And I thought this is going to be really funny and, really great. And it was Disney princesses.
Queens.
With superpowers.
Elsa is a queen.
Well, whatever you can. Anyway, it wasn't any good, and I didn't enjoy it. Anyway, you can shun me if you want to, but I'm not a fan of Frozen. I feel like it's way overplayed, and I'm really sick of. I'm really tired of hearing "Can we build a snowman?" or whatever the song is. I hear that all the time, and it's like I just want to choke people out with their own scarves when I hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, not really. But anyway, I guess that's our review of Dumbo. Feel free to give us a comment down in the comment sections below if you did like the film or you didn't like the film or whatever you thought. If you didn't, if you saw it, I mean, probably I would say that probably not a lot of people saw it.
I don't know.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know how many people saw it.
But, let us know what you think. And until next time, we will be reviewing some other movies coming up. We got a whole load of them. We're going to be doing stuff like The Mule and Captain Marvel and some others. The new Mary Poppins. We're going to check it out. Which, is it Disney?
Yeah.
It's Disney. So, yeah, because Mary Poppins is Disney.
Mary
That's
Poppins
right.
is Disney.
Okay. So we'll
Big
see.
Mary Poppins fans, so they better not screw this one up.
We'll see if that's original. We'll see if that one is as good as the original. I can already tell you that
it's not a remake.
I don't know about casting. I'm not sure about the casting because they went with a woman that literally hates America. And I feel like to be an American actress and hate America, it's like, well, you know, you can go back to England if you want to. You know.
I mean, it's whatever.
You know, because we don't need you here. I don't know.
I don't know.
I liked her until that comment. Until that comment.
I didn't know that she made that comment until you told me about it. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, I'd read a news article and she was bitching about how horrible America is, and I'm like, well, then go back to England. You know, you know what I mean? You're not happy here.
You hate it.
Then go back.
She can afford it.
Which was really disappointing to me because I liked her movies up until that point. Now I'm on this big kick where it's like, I'm boycotting her completely. I don't even remember her name.
Emily
Blunt.
Blunt.
Emily
I know
Blunt.
it's Emily.
Yeah. Big America hater. So, you know, I don't know. Anyway, we're going to be previewing Mary Poppins, and we'll see just how good or horrible Emily Blunt is in it. I will say she's a good actress.
She is.
She's a very good actress.
Nobody will ever replace Julie Andrews.
I can't fault her for that. I just didn't like the comment that she made about America. Yeah. You know, I just feel like to be an American actress, it's like, really?
I mean,
really? You know, go be an actress in England then, where you're from, I guess. You know, if you're not happy here. Anyway, that's a whole other ball of wax.
Yeah,
but
that's a whole thing.
Anyway, that's a review. Until next time, peace.